Hello, my name is Gaz, and today I want to talk about the hypest games releasing in 2016, or at least what I'm most looking forward to. So I'm just going to list a bunch of games I think look cool and explain why I'm excited for them. Pretty simple really. It's not flying, it's falling with style. I mean, it's basically flying, but then I wouldn't have been able to make that sick Buzz Lightyear reference. My anticipation for this game kinda relies on how much I enjoy Gravity Rush Remastered, which releases in February, but I didn't want to put a re-release on the list. Any game that does something new with movement has my attention, so that's why I'm hyped for Gravity Rush. If you couldn't tell from the footage, Gravity Rush is about changing the gravity around you to pretty much fly, and it also incorporates this mechanic in its combat. I also really like the aesthetic of the game, and in general just happy weird creative games like this are still around in the big budget space.
Super Hot.
Super Hot, an FPS with a genius concept where time only moves when you do. The appeal of the game is obvious when you see the game played. It's one of these concepts that just leads to tons of incredibly cool moments of gameplay. I'm not really going to explain this, I just want you to look at it. When this was first announced at the turn of the Industrial Revolution, I don't think Queen Victoria, or anyone for that matter, expected this mess would be the result. I say mess in the most positive way possible. It's probably going to be the best game the Wii U ever gets, and I haven't forgot about Zelda. It hasn't been announced for this year, but I'm assuming, given how much gameplay they've shown, it will come out in 2016. And it better bloody get localised, because I don't even think Shin Megami Tensei X Fire Emblem is its official English title. The first Mirror's Edge was an extremely cool and original game from 2008, and 8 years later we get the sequel. They took out the guns and made it open world. I'm happier about the former than the latter, but open world design should work fairly well for the game, even if I might miss the tight linear design of the original. I'm just happy I'll be getting another fix of that sweet first person parkour again. Do you like Pokemon? Do you like Tekken and the Naruto fighting games? I do, except maybe Naruto. Well, that's what this is in a nutshell, or should I say, in a Squirtle shell. I haven't got any experience with the Final Fantasy games, but 15 looks pretty incredible. I love the fact that it's basically an anime road trip game. The game looks beautiful, the music in the trailers is simply breathtaking, and I like stories about evil governments, so I'm absolutely sold on this title from what I've seen. I wish the characters had better hair though. I would have also put the Final Fantasy VII Remake on here because that too is looking great, but the director basically confirmed it wasn't coming out this year. I self-identify as a caveman. The walls of my room are covered in cryptic drawings that may or may not be of aliens, and I have a bitching club. This lifestyle can lead to some problems, but now with Far Cry Primal, I have an outlet for all my Neanderthal needs. I dream of climbing those really big trees to scout out my map. Seriously though, Far Cry Primal looks great, and I love that Ubisoft is willing to take creative risks with this franchise, and I wish other developers would do the same. While I haven't actually said Nioh will release in 2016, I'm still putting it on here because it looks real good, and let's face it, half the games on the list will end up being delayed till next year, if last year's list is anything to go by. Nioh is a samurai hack and slash game that reminds me more of the old PS2 action games, rather than most of the homogenised contemporary hack and slashes we get today. Combat looks quick, tight, and with an appropriate amount of brutality. And on a side note, more games should have samurai. They're much cooler than knights or Spartans. You are a dog abandoned by its owners and have to survive in the big city. Home Free looks like a fairly charming little indie game with a neat art style. I'm a sucker for any game where you play as an animal, so that's enough to pique my interest. Doom's not a series I'm overly familiar with, and the E3 gameplay demo wasn't particularly impressive, but I'm still optimistic about this title. We don't get many games that are just made to be a fun mindless 10 hours or so of entertainment nowadays, and I believe that that's what we'll be getting from this long awaited sequel. I just want to go around Mars and Hell, blowing demons away with a shotgun, feeling like the manliest of men. Hopefully that's what Doom 4 will be. It showed how stacked of a year 2016 is pegged to be that I almost forgot about Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Human Revolution is the first and only Deus Ex game I've played, and it was excellent back in 2011. Mankind Divided looks to be more of the same, but bigger and more polished. There's some interesting new abilities they've added, and the levels are much larger, which should create more ways to approach the situation. The story in these games is usually quite interesting as well. Conflicts between augmented people and those who want to remain completely human creates an interesting world. Who'd have ever thought The Last Guardian would come out? I don't really have much to say about the game other than it's a follow-up to Shadow of the Colossus, undisputedly one of the greatest games of all time. I can't wait to go on an adventure with that big bird dog thing. I just hope it's got to be worth the wait. Man, I'm so excited for Persona 5. It's undoubtedly the game I'm most looking forward to this year. Persona 4 is my favourite game of all time, so I'm expecting great things out of 5, and from the looks of the recent trailers, we'll be getting great things. They seem to have really improved the dungeons from what I've seen, which were the worst parts of the previous games. Also, it looks like it's a generally much larger game than 4 in terms of visitable locations and whatnot. But I swear, Atlas, if this game doesn't come out in Europe in 2016, you're going right on my shit list. Adrift looks essentially like Gravity the game, and that's a fantastic idea. I didn't even like the film all that much, but a game about floating around in space, trying to navigate through debris, sounds much more engrossing. I believe it's supposed to be VR supported, which I don't care about because I can't afford one, but it does seem like a good fit. Death's Gambit is one of a few new indie games that's been heavily inspired by Dark Souls. It's got Dark Souls-like combat, but with a lot of added platforming given it's a side scroller, and the pixel art is rather pretty. Nothing much more to say about it, looks good. Dark Souls 1 I rank as one of the 10 best games ever created, but the other Souls games haven't quite matched up to it for one reason or another. Dark Souls 3 seems like it's got to be a culmination of all the best FromSoft games. DS1's level design, Bloodborne speed, DS2's PvP improvements. If it manages to have all the best aspects of the Souls games, then we are in for one hell of a treat. Let's just hope 3 consecutive games of this nature in 3 years won't affect the team's output. Oh, and that skeleton boss is rad. Cuphead may be the best looking game ever made. Most people will scoff at that, but man, you can't deny the gloriousness of that animation. The game itself, from what I've seen, is a boss rush 2D shooter. Not my favourite style of game, but I'm mainly interested for the aesthetic. Oh, and it has co-op too. Honestly, I don't care that much about Overwatch, but the way everyone has been hyping it up makes me want to play it. The characters look cool and it has a nice Pixar style. And it's by Blizzard, so you can somewhat expect a quality product. This game came out of nowhere last E3 and blew my socks off. Post-apocalyptic Earth is now ruled by robot dinosaurs which you hunt with a bow for parts. Okay, it may sound a little dumb when you put it that way, but man, it looks splendid. Not only does the gameplay of hunting by shooting off parts of the machines to find their weaknesses look awesome, but the story and the world came across very intriguing and mysterious in the trailers. All around a very impressive showing from Horizon, but I kind of expect this game to be delayed till 2017, given how ambitious it looks and how little we've seen. Attack on Titan is a pretty great anime about killing naked giants with swords, grappling hooks, and jetpacks, aka the best IP you could ever try turning into a game. While the game doesn't look spectacular, I still think it will be quite fun for fans of the show when bought at a discount. 100-foot robot golf is pretty self-explanatory. Evangelion robots playing golf or just beating the shit out of each other, because why not? Fun multiplayer concept that I'm sure will be entertaining. Oh, and dogs can pilot the mechs too. You know, as they do. So those are the games I'm most looking forward to in 2016. Hopefully none of them are shit. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, hit that thumbs up. If you want to see more videos from me, subscribe boys. Thank you and goodbye.